Hello YouTubers, welcome to my shop. This is the Yeswelder 205DS. I just picked this up a couple of months ago. I've got a big welder that I've had for a long time. It's a Millermatic 200 from the late 1980s. It weighs so much and it is so huge that I wanted to consolidate my welders down to a smaller package. I have a small garage and I wanted something that was going to be similar in performance. Plus, so many new welders have synergic capabilities, and I thought that would be a really nice feature to have, an synergic welder that is the new modern induction type welding that has a smoother arc and that kind of thing. I've been reading about them for years. So I decided to buy this welder right here. This is the Yeswelder Mig-205DS. It is a 200 amp, 60% duty cycle welder. It is a dual voltage welder, and I probably won't use that capability, but it does come with some handy dandy little parts. It has an adapter that can change it from your standard 3-plug 50 amp to your 120 amp. I'm sure that probably changes depending on what country you're in. It comes with a stick welder clamp. This would be handy if you don't want to change wire. You've already got it set up. Like I've got mine set up right now with the 3/0 wire and a 75/25 argon CO2 mix. It comes with a 3-meter 15 series. I believe they call that a Benzel style gun. It has the handles that just slip on and off. I don't actually, I've got this one set up right now with a liner, a nylon liner, so I can push aluminum wire because it does not have spool gun capability. And then it has a 3-meter ground clamp, heavy duty ground clamp, and you can see it's got all the really nice heavy features. I actually have an extension. I bought some extra wire so that I can, on my stick welder if I want, I've got an extra 10 feet of cable, and these are really handy to have because it's just a matter of plugging them in. Now what's interesting about this particular, and I noticed that I'm starting to see this on some of the others, this has more of the European style bends connector. You'll notice that it's really flat, where this one has a nose that sticks out. You can kind of see the difference between the two of them here. This one will not work in here. This sticks out too far and hits a bolt that sticks through. But that's really not that big of a deal because these plugs are actually pretty cheap and it's pretty easy to change them out. But that's something to keep in mind if you already have one of these style welders. You can use this style in the older because that doesn't affect you. The location between the ear and the, in this case it's a 50 amp series, or 200 amp series I mean, it's about a 1/2 inch in diameter, works in the other style. So this is set up to do gasless or gas welding. It actually has in the synergic settings, it has, that's your stick welder, that is your scratch TIG, that's gasless, that's CO2 argon. You've got the 2T, 4T, 2T, you pull the trigger, you let go, and it shuts off. 4T, you pull the trigger, and it keeps shooting wire until you pull the trigger again, and that would be for like really long runs with a 60% duty cycle at 200 and 100% duty cycle at 154 amps. You could feasibly do that. I think you'd warp the hell out of the metal, but that's okay. This button here selects your wire. That is the 0.3510 wire. That's the 0.23, 0.6 millimeter wire, and there's the 3/0 wire, the 0.8 millimeter. It comes with the roller for the 1, 0, and the 0.8. If you want to get to do smaller wire, you will have to pick up one of these handy little rollers here. This is a 0.8 and a 0.6. This is the little 0.6 one that I picked up on Amazon. I'm wanting to say I paid like 15 bucks, maybe 10 bucks for it. Uses your standard Benzol consumables. I've got mine set up with a bigger 250 amp gun, and that's because it's a 4 meter, 16 foot gun, and this way I don't have to roll the welder closer. This little control up here is actually changes, that's your amperage. That's the thickness of the wire. So if you want to go to all the way up to 5.1, almost 6 millimeter on your metal thickness, I have found that their settings are, when you get to the 5.1, which would be, it seems to be a lot hotter than for 1/4 inch. I'm not 100% sure what the program is in here. I actually have made myself a cheat sheet. I just simply went online and made myself a sheet. I grabbed information from the Millermatic 250, the Lincoln 255, and the Titan welders, and made myself a cheat sheet. And because this does not display inches per minute, regardless of what that says right there, it is not inches per minute. This actually displays voltage and amperage. But that's not that big of a deal, because you can convert your wire speed from your charts to amperage with simple division. Your 0.30 wire, you take your wire speed that you're used to seeing. So if you've got a wire speed of 280 inches per minute, divide it by 2. It'll be 140 amps. So it's actually not that difficult. The 0.45 wire, which this does not have a roller, you have to get a roller for it. That's a simple 1-to-1. I think that would be the only thing that I find frustrating with the welder itself. The controls are a little bit cumbersome, but I'm seeing this as being pretty common now on the offshore welders. You can change the, in this case right here, if I want to adjust my voltage up and down, I can change the voltage, and you'll see that the voltage went up, and it changed the voltage to the amps has changed. So you can kind of fine tune that a little bit more to your liking and what you're welding with. If you're going to be welding stainless, it's going to be different than, say, the normal steel settings that are in here, because it doesn't give you that type of control like some of them that have the LCD screens on them. You can adjust inductance, but when it says inches per minute, that's actually inductance. So you can adjust your inductance, and that for if you're going to start, depending on, everybody has their own style. The whole inductance thing is new to me, because I didn't grow up using MIG welders. They were very expensive. I'm kind of an old guy, and really about the last 10-15 years I've been using an older welder. You don't get to adjust the inductance anyway, so this is all new to me. But it's my understanding that you can adjust the inductance or arc force, so that if you are welding in a situation where maybe you've got a little bit dirtier metal, although I'm still practicing with MIG welding, is that you don't weld dirty metal like you do a stick welder. Those are your basic features, your basic adjustments. This wheel, this knob here, is adjusting the voltage, and when you adjust the voltage, you'll see that the amperage is moving as well. It has an all-metal drivetrain, and it uses, like I said, the standard the standard wheels. He said these are cheap. You can buy these online, so you can get your 0.6 wire, your 223 if you want to do 223 wire. Now let's talk about the company itself. When I got this welder from Amazon on sale, it had clearly been sold to somebody else, and they returned it because of the way that the box was taped up. They did put it back in its bag and all that, but they took the ground clamp. The ground clamp that came in my box was actually a little 5-foot, and I was really disappointed. But more disappointing than that, and this is not Yeswelder's issue, this was an Amazon deal. This thing had been dropped in its box. Now the box itself protected the welder, but it took a hard jolt, and it caused my door to stick. And I've got that working fine now. But it also was showing all 8s because it knocked the wire loose inside. Before I got into this welder to check things, because I wouldn't have known what to check for, I actually reached out to Yeswelder via a email. Within an hour, I had a response back, and they offered to replace it and send out a new one to me with expedited shipping. I actually wanted to see what was inside the welder, so I asked if I could repair it, and they sent me a whole bunch of new parts that I will probably not have to use, but I do have them. They sent me a new panel, which I didn't have to put in. It was just simply a wire that got knocked loose, a plug, and they sent another main board. But it did give me a chance to look inside. It's very well made, obviously done with a CNC machine that places all of the different circuits and stuff together, all of the resistors and the computer chips and all that on the board, because it is no way that a human being can do it that neatly and nicely. It also has separator sleeves inside so that the panels can't rub and touch each other. I do believe that a person can, if they wanted to, they could convert this to a spool gun by simply putting in a switch that would deactivate the feeder, internal feeder, and send that voltage to a spool gun. I probably won't do that. I don't weld aluminum that often. I almost always do steel. But it's something I could do in the future when the warranty wears out. But as far as the company goes, they were completely stand-up. They sent me all new ground clamps and stuff, and then for my inconvenience, they even sent me a brand new Yeswelder helmet. And this is one of the really neat ones. This has the, I don't know if you can see that or not, but has their true color capabilities. All kinds. It's got grind mode and so on. It's a really nice welding helmet, and it's got a really big viewing picture. And what I really like is I actually have a Viking, a really nice expensive Viking helmet, and this actually has the same type of headgear as the Viking helmet. It's actually nicer. It's got a softer back on it for the back strap. Very comfortable. It's one of those that when you have it on, you don't want to take it off immediately. I've had welding helmets where I feel like I've got to take them off immediately because they're driving me nuts. They're hurting my head. This one does not do that. And this is really what I'm used to have known Yeswelder for, was their helmets, not welders. And I think this is something relatively new that they're getting into. And I think they're doing a real good job. So, if you're in the mood to get or in the market to get a new welder, this happened to be on sale at the time when I bought it. It was $369 for a fully synergic, dual voltage, 200 amp MIG welder. Multi-function. I said it does MIG, MAG, MIG being the CO2, MAG being the mixed gas, stick welder, gasless, and scratch TIG. 120 or 250 or 240 volt, 220. Actually, I guess it is 220 volt. Standard 50 amp plug that's on most welders that you buy. You will like this welder. I really guarantee you that you will like this welder. I say go for it. There's not a whole lot of money here. This one happened to be on sale, $369, and then it had a 20% off coupon. And it just so happened I had some prime points, so by the time I got into this welder, I was out less than $200. I'm impressed. I've had a chance to burn through almost an entire roll of wire with it now, and it welds very smooth. The wire feed is very smooth. Of course, you know, you can adjust that as well. Nice welder, and I'm even pushing it through. Like I said, a much heavier gun. It does not have a problem at all pushing that 16 feet of wire through that bigger gun. Hope this video has been helpful. I know that I didn't find anything online, and their instructions aren't exactly that great. I like most of the offshore welders, so I thought, since I've been helped by other people posting videos when I couldn't find information, I'm not a professional YouTuber and I'm not a professional welder, but I will tell you that this is not that difficult to use, and hopefully this video has been helpful to you. Take care. Have a great holiday season. And maybe I'll get, depending on if people like the video, maybe I'll do a video showing it weld. Take care.